Hola, bienvenidos a Unspoken. Mi nombre es Gio Richard y este es nuestro primer video. Este video lo elegí con muchísimo cariño, con muchísima pasión, porque es uno de mis temas favoritos, de una de mis religiones del mundo favoritas, que es el uso del velo islámico en las mujeres. Creo que hoy en día, bueno, no creo, estoy segura que hoy en día es uno de los temas más controversiales y para mí era muy importante como que mostrar esta otra cara del uso del velo. Yo recuerdo la primera vez que vi el velo islámico fue en un viaje que tuve en Estados Unidos. Y la primera cosa que hice fue preguntarle a mi papá, ¿por qué las mujeres se están cubriendo el cabello? Lo primero que él me contestó fue que era porque estaban oprimidas, porque sus esposos las obligaban, etcétera. Entonces como que yo crecí con una idea errónea islamofóbica sobre el uso del velo, porque es lo que realmente las redes sociales nos han enseñado y los medios de comunicación en esa época. Y creo que es como muy importante para mí mostrar la realidad. Yo empecé a conocer un poquito más esa cara porque en el 2018 me mudé a Medio Oriente, un poco antes ya había viajado muchísimas veces y empecé a conocer a muchísimas mujeres musulmanas y una de ellas es mi mejor amiga. De ahí me empezaron a mostrar realmente otra idea sobre qué era el velo islámico, sobre cómo representaba algo desde religioso hasta algo cultural. También entender como todas las matices que hay dentro de una sociedad en el uso de este. Entonces, para mí es muy importante este tema, espero que les encante. Para eso invité a mi mejor amiga, bueno, a una de mis mejores amigas, que se llama Radwa. Ella es egipcia del Cairo y pues queríamos compartirles con ellas pues su historia del velo, con muchísimo respeto, sabiendo que ella no es como una académica o a veces, no sé, alguien especializado en el Islam, sino alguien que lo vive a flor de piel. Entonces, obviamente estamos contando su historia, que sea con todo el respeto, con todo el amor que se merece y muchísimas gracias.
Yes, perfect. So, yeah, my name is Radwa.
Ujú.
I am from Egypt. I'm from Cairo, Egypt. Um, I'm 28 years old. I work as a pharmacist. I graduated pharmacy school here in Egypt. Yeah, and that's it. My story with the hijab or the veil is like it's really similar to a lot of stories, and it's like the typical story for every woman that wears the hijab here in Egypt. It's like the majority of the stories you would hear like this sequence. Basically, when I had my first period, I think that was the first time that my mom introduced me to the hijab, and she told me that like having your first period means that you're becoming a woman now, and there are going to be some changes with your body, with your way of thinking, and everything. So yeah, here is something that if you want to consider wearing the hijab, like it's up to you. It's totally your own choice. Um, yeah, and I think that was the very first time that I thought about wearing the hijab, and also it was like something like girls do, like by like every girl at this age, like they are like used to do this, like it's like a tradition or something. It wasn't something when we first thought of it, it wasn't religious, like 100% religious. It was like maybe, yeah, most of it was religious and to be close to God and everything, but like the very first thought when we had been introduced to the hijab, it has been a traditional thought, like every girl were doing it at this specific age, and when they got their first period or something like this, and yeah, it was like mainly a tradition. So the first time I wore the hijab, I was like 13 or 14, 12 or 13, like by this age, I don't actually remember. And I actually did it because everyone was doing it. Like everyone was like growing up and having their period. And then after that, it was like the teenage era. So so yeah, that was my first time wearing it, and then I took it off like after a year or something of wearing it, and it was I think the reason was that I wasn't feeling myself wearing the hijab. I wanted to be more free. I felt like I was really young, and I felt like it was like constraining me from doing some stuff, from like going out with my friends, yeah, from wearing specific clothes. So yeah, I wasn't feeling it at all, and then yeah, I took it off after a year or something, and I don't think that my parents opposed that or anything. Yeah, they were like, if you want to take it off, take it off and like wear it, or yeah, you can wear it whenever you feel like it's the time, the right time for you. And then I think I wore it again like when I was 16 or something.
So
Yeah, and
you
then
started using it when you start your period, exactly in the
yes.
moment that you start your period, and you remove it 1 year after.
Yeah, when and not in the moment, like I was introduced to the idea after getting my first period by my mom. Like she said to me, like, here is a thing like girls do when they get their first period because they are becoming a woman and blah blah blah. And then I thought about it, and I found every girl around me were doing it, and it was like a symbol of being a woman, you know. It's like it came with having your first period and being a woman, so putting the hijab on, you know. Yeah, so that was my first time, like yeah, like weeks after getting my first period or something.
Wow.
And yeah, it was like I told you, like it was a traditional thing. Like I did it for because everyone was doing it, so I didn't like think so much into it, and I think that's why. And I was really young, like to consider such a choice. And then I think that was the reason for me to take it off like after a really short time, after a year or something, because yeah, I wasn't 100% convinced. I thought that there are a lot of things that I couldn't do and I couldn't experience in such a young age. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's why I took it off.
and when you decide to wear it again, like around your 16 years old, what makes you to decide to wear it again?
Yeah, I think what made me, and it's 100% a personal experience for me because I got introduced more to my religion. I became a little bit more religious. I was closer to God by that age, and by that time, like I had to think for myself. I had to think it thoroughly, like not like the way of thinking that I used to think with when I was like 12 or 13 years old. I was thinking like, yeah, I have to cover up because it's for God, and if I'm getting closer to God, it will be better to follow all the rules that God has put for us women, Muslim women. And one main rule for us was to wear the hijab. So yeah, it made me feel closer to God. It made me feel it made the whole journey for journey for like getting closer to God. It made it easier, and it made it yeah, a little bit more enjoyable. And yeah, I think that was the main reason, like getting closer to God, getting more religious. That was the main reason for me to wear it in the second time.
And when you wear it for the second time, what did your parents told you? Like they were happy, they were surprised. Like how did they took it?
Yeah, I think my father, I think he didn't actually have an opinion about it. Like he was happy for me, like to get closer to God, and to have to do my own decisions for myself. So he was with me whatever the decision was. Like, if you want to wear it, it's okay. If you want to take it off, it's your choice and it's your life. So he was happy for me that not he wasn't happy for me that I put the hijab on. I don't think so. He was happy for me that I reached that decision um with this mindset. Like, I'm not wearing it now that because everyone is wearing it. No, I'm wearing it as I'm convinced with it, as I'm feeling myself wearing it. I'm feeling more comfortable in it. So yeah, that's what was making him happy. My mom was also happy for me, but my mom had a little bit different way of thinking, because she thought that I'm really young to decide to wear the hijab now, because she thought, my mom, when she was at my age, my mama, I don't think that she wore the hijab until she was like 30, 32 or something. So she had this way of thinking that I need to live my life, and for me to live my life, I need like to wear whatever I want, and I don't. She doesn't want me to be like restricted to a special way of clothes, or like special way of wearing. So she was with me, but she told me that whenever I feel like, she told me that this is a big commitment, so you have to be 100% sure of that, because you're really young and your way of thinking changes. So maybe one day you will feel like, oh, okay, I think I need to wear this dress. Why I can't wear this like summer dress, or why I can't wear this like swimsuit like my friends. So she was a little bit concerned that my way of thinking is going to be changed in the by time. Uh, but I think at that time I was like, so like 100% sure. I talk them through this, and I told them that yeah, I'm 100% sure. I think this is the thing for me, and I'm not. I don't think that it's going to change by time. I think it's going to be stronger. I'm going to be attached to it more, and alhamdulillah, this is what happened. And yeah, on the way I had like some struggles and some uh like things on the road, and maybe some people that changed my way of thinking on it, or influenced it somehow. But yeah, I always get back to it.
And for, yeah, like I guess your mom wanted to you to leave like certain
Yes,
things as other people, because she was imagining her own experience. But this is something good,
yes,
because it shows how you really wanted to wear the hijab, and it was not something as forced. The opposite, it was something like you decide, even if your mother wanted to, you live other type of life in the beginning.
yes, of
So
course, yeah.
this is something like super, super important. I wanted to ask, like, what are the things, like, what changed in a woman life, the use of the hijab? Like, should, like, can women do the same things as before, where the, like, if they don't use the hijab, or it changed some rules on the hijabi woman?
Yeah. For this matter, uh, I has I have thought about this a lot over the years of wearing the hijab, and I thought like, will it allow me to do the things that I like to do, or am I going to be restricted from doing some things? But yeah, I think it depends on the person. Like, when you like devote yourself fully to the hijab and wearing the right way of clothing, and the right like dress code for being a hijabi or something, um, it comes with it that you it's like a package. It's like it's a package of like, you're going to be like this, so you have to know that there are certain things that you're not going to be allowed to do. It's mostly related to getting dressed in a certain way, or like wearing a swimsuit or something like this. But all other things like studying, traveling, that like working, I think like 90% of the things you can do here in Egypt while wearing the hijab. um yeah, I don't think that it's restricting from a lot of things, but there's like a certain topic related to the things that you can do and things you cannot do wearing the hijab that I would like to talk about, because there are some things, there are always hijabs out there tell you that the hijab doesn't restrict you from doing anything. You can do anything while wearing the hijab. Yes, of course, I can do whatever I want while wearing the hijab, as long as I want it. But there are some things that that my faith and me wearing a symbol for my religion, um, I don't think that it's like the perfect things to do while being a Muslim, or by wearing the hijab. Maybe like being in like a nightclub. I know 100% that it's like a personal choice. You can choose to be in a nightclub while wearing the hijab, or by following your faith. But you know, some people do not feel comfortable doing this. So I'm not going to go to a nightclub to make a point or convince other people that wearing the hijab I can do anything that I can do. It's like, if it's not the right thing, if I don't think that it's the right thing for me to be in places that I cannot be in, or like my faith um doesn't go with the idea of that place, or the doesn't allow me to do the things that are like done in these places. So I don't think that I have to go there to like make a point, see me, I'm a hijabi and I can be here like everyone else. So
Yeah.
it's like it's a little bit like it's controversial, and I'm not judging anyone who does it. Actually, myself, I did it several times to have fun with my friends. But because some people, some hijabs, like they want to make sure that we can do everything. Yeah, we can do everything, but we don't have to prove it to anyone. We don't have to prove to people that we can do anything wearing the hijab. If your faith doesn't match with some things, so you don't have to do it to prove to anyone that you can do everything that other people do. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
just
but
an
I
example.
also believe it's something related also to how mature you are and how sure you are about your own beliefs. For example, you are my friend, and I remember, uh, I know how you are, and it's, for example, if there is people who is doing certain type of action, but you don't believe in this action, just because it's between you and God. Like I had been, for example, in places with Muslim people who are having fun, and they say, I don't drink alcohol because my religion doesn't allow me to drink alcohol, but it doesn't affect me to be with someone who is in front of me drinking alcohol. But other people say, I don't like to be even in places that they are
Yes.
serving alcohol. And I believe
Hmm.
any of both options is completely respectable, is completely understandable, and it's something related to you and your own self. Like you don't need to prove absolutely anything. And also, at the end,
Yes.
I believe God is perfect, any God that every person wants to practice in each religion. And I really believe the religion doesn't need to be judged as the human's action. At the end of the times, we are not perfect, and we try to get our connection with God in a certain way. But at the end of the
Mm.
time, we are not perfect. But something I really believe is kind of dangerous is that the hijab is like Islamic symbol
Yeah,
for women. So a lot of people who don't know certain like things, they can judge the religion out of the actions of certain type of people. And this is also what happened a lot with the media,
yeah, yeah, of
because
course.
and also happens, for example, to other type of religion, Christianity, Judaism,
Of
etc.
course.
Like some people judge the religion by the people's action. But yes, I'm sure like 100% what are you saying, and people don't need to prove absolutely
Yes,
anything. So I wanted
exactly.
to ask you like this, after you many questions I already know the answer, but I would like that you share it like in this hijabi question, like after you started. Okay, number one, no more. Like the majority of, okay, you are in Egypt where a lot of women use hijab and a lot of people know, but how you were growing, how can you say the majority of the women in Egypt decide or don't decide to use the veil?
Uh, hmm.
Like if you can see it from outside, like knowing your friends, like you say, the majority of my friends use the hijab, or no, the majority no, or they are started using the hijab after a certain age.
Yeah, I think it depends on the because here in Egypt we have um, a lot of backgrounds. Like, yes, we are all Muslims, but there are like a lot of um, social background, I think, and this will be the main thing that affects the girl's choice in wearing the hijab. But like if I talk about me and my background, my social background, I think most of my friends were not forced to like maybe yeah 90% of the people I know who are wearing the hijab, yeah, they were not forced to wear it. But but I'm not telling you that they were not forced to wear it, but not the majority of them, not these 90%, were it by when they were 100% convinced by it. Like they wear it, they chose to wear it, but they are not 100% convinced with it. And there are a lot of other factors that that affect that yeah used to affect their choice. But when we talk about being forced to wear it, like their parents forced them to wear it or anything like this, no, I don't think that this is the majority. If I'm talking about the my social background. But in Egypt, I believe that people who come from simple backgrounds or like a lower level in the society, I think it has to it something has to do with their parents' ignorance, because yeah they just yeah you're becoming a woman. Becoming a woman means that there are a lot of eyes will be on you, and you're going to be like here in Egypt and most of the Arab countries, women are a little bit, a lot objectified by men. So this is the main reason they tell them that they have to cover up, because the most of the eyes are going to be on them, so they have to cover up to avoid being objectified by men, or avoid being harassed or anything like this. So it's going to be like a protection for them, not for them to like wear it because they believe in it, or it's good for them, or anything like that. So they wear it like a shield. They use it as a shield
Yeah,
for not to be harassed or anything like this.
it's
So
it's
yeah.
super it's super interesting this, because actually yesterday I was not yesterday, 2 days ago, I was talking with a friend of mine, and she is from Afghanistan. She lives actually now in Kabul, with all the topic with the occupation of the
Mm.
Taliban, etc. And I was talking like from her how it's now to be living under Taliban's occupation, that it's horrible. And she was telling me like it's funny how also it's all the time the view on the veil topic. But she told me you need to understand that also the veil is something cultural and it's something religious. And it's not,
Yeah.
it's also the meaning, it's a lot cultural. So we need to understand the culture of the country, and we need to understand also the religion of the country, knowing that Afghanistan is not an Arab country. Actually, I was telling, and when I was all the time writing for this topic, I was telling like the only two countries that nowadays, Saudi Arabia a couple of years ago, but now today in 2022, the only two countries who force the use of the hijab are two, that is Iran and Afghanistan, and none of them are Arabs. They are Muslims, but they are not Arabs. And this is something like a good statement to do, but also it's understanding that the culture is completely important on it. And I don't know if you saw it, but here a lot we see pictures of the 70s, 60s of Middle East, especially all this area of Lebanon, Iraq, Egypt,
Even Egypt,
uh,
yeah.
that they stop using a lot the hijab. And
Mm.
actually, I was talking to you a couple of days ago about this topic because I went entering a lot in reading why this happened. Because a lot of people used to say, like, Iraq was open-minded because in certain years they didn't used to use the hijab, and after the war against USA and ISIS, etc., they started using the hijab. And also, it's understanding that this is a reflection of politics and a
Mm-hmm.
history development, but it's not nothing related to the person and their belief of its certain historical facts that happen and impact the society. But I really believe also the veil is not always the reflect about how much are the woman rights related to women. Like a lot of people talk about Lebanon as, oh, Lebanon is super open-minded, that I hate the word open-minded, because in Lebanon the majority of the people don't use veil,
Mm.
and people go and drink alcohol, and people go to parties, and you see all the women wearing Western clothes. And I always tell them, for me, it's not that they are open-minded or closed-minded. This is called westernized. Is that
Yeah.
they are deciding to wear Western clothes, but it's not the relation about if it's open-minded or closed-minded. I really believe the topic of how much is conservative a topic related to women is not about the dressing code, it's about the freedom of women to choose their own life and their
Yeah.
decisions, and the freedom to do something. I know some women in Lebanon who are able to do whatever they want, but also women. So also I saw some women who dress shorts and bikini, but they are not allowed to go out to travel alone. And for example,
Yeah.
something you did, like I
Yes.
saw you how you wear hijab and how you travel to several countries. And
Yeah.
I went to Egypt several times, and we went out to restaurants in the night, and you were wearing hijab, and your parents never force you. Normally,
Yeah.
if they use, I remember once your father um, called you in the night, and it was more about the security, about
Mm-hmm.
a real situation that happens all around the world, that is the woman harassment,
Yeah.
more than something related as you cannot do something.
Yes. Being safe. Yeah. He was like, yeah, he was worried about my safety. Like he was worried for me, like every father, worry about their children. Yeah. It's
Something
not
like
like
you
you have to
cannot
be.
do it.
Yeah. Yes, I understand.
Exactly. So this
Yeah,
is something
exactly.
me I like. I always defend Egypt. It's something also
Yeah.
cultural and religious, and this is something 100% respectable and super important. I wanted to ask you, like, do you feel like in any of your trips around the world that you had in Europe or Lebanon or Australia or the countries you have ever been, have you ever felt any type of discrimination because of the use of the hijab, because of your background? Like for me, this is super important to know.
Yes, I don't know that if I don't know if we talked about this before, but yeah, I was discriminated against several times when I was abroad, and
Wow.
actually, yeah, several times. And I was one time I was going on a Euro trip with my friend, with Nada, and I was actually having a cold feet before going to Europe because one of my male friends actually here in Egypt, told me that he's really worried for me to go there because I was going to France, I was going to Paris, and he has heard a lot of stories of women, hijabi women getting discriminated against in Paris, and I was really scared. I was really afraid to go there, and I actually made a somewhat of a some sort of a measurement that I'm really ashamed to talk about right now. But yeah, I'm going to tell you because to know the way I was thinking when I was that scared to be discriminated against
But you were
in Europe.
discriminated in France.
Yeah, I was discriminated like 2 times or something in France. But and in other countries, and I think I was discriminated against in Belgium, and I think that was the biggest incidents that I have been yelled at. I have been yelled at in Dutch, and I wasn't understanding what he was saying, but yeah, I can imagine what he was saying. Like I was sitting in the bus and enjoying the scenery of beautiful Antwerp, and I had a man that walked to me in the bus, and he was looking at me, and I was the only veiled girl in the bus. So yeah, I could understand that it was something related to the veil, and he was yelling at me, and he didn't stop like until the driver asked him to leave the bus, and then the driver said sorry to me, but not a single person came up to me and said anything from the people that were in the bus, and I was really shocked. Like I was looking at him like this. No, what I can't understand what he's saying, but I can imagine that he's talking about my hijab because he was looking at my head, and yeah, I think that was like the most frightening discrimination incidents that I have been through. But also in Paris, yeah, I actually most of the time, me and Nada, Paris is really large, and the maps doesn't help like where to go, and they also have like a very large metro or like underground system. So there were a lot of lines, and there are a lot of trains. So we're really lost, and every time we were in the underground, we had to ask people like where to go and where to catch that bus. So me and Nada had to make turns. Like every time I told her like Nada, you will ask people 2 times and then me once, because the probability for me to get discriminated upon is larger than you because Nada is not veiled.
Yeah, Nada
And
is Muslim and it's not veiled.
you don't look Egyptian, Nada, you don't look Arab, so you have to go ask them. They won't do anything to you. They will be welcoming. But me, like the one time that I went to people to ask them about the directions or the metro lines or anything like that. Yeah, there was that woman that like looked at me like this, and said something in French, and she was really aggressive, and then she walked away. So yeah, and there are like several instances.
Okay, one of the last questions that I want to ask you it's about marriage. Do you think like in Egypt or for your own experience, because talk about Egypt is too big and too much realities and social background, how is the topic with hijab inside marriage?
It differs from it's really controversial, and it's really it differs from person to another, and from also the social level. It's really different, the if you're it yeah it depends on the social level. So if you are really rich here in Egypt, so yeah, as I told you before, that in some people from a higher social level, or people who are maybe richer than other people, yeah, they I don't think that uh, the rich guys here in Egypt choose to be married to a hijabi woman,
They will
because
not.
uh, no, they will not. They will choose
Wow.
to marry a non-hijabi girl, because there's social events, their travels, and everything related to their image is going to be better if they have a non-hijabi girl as a wife for them, because it's easier, and for maybe my social background or my social level, which is like medium, uh, I think yeah, it also differs from a guy to a guy. Like if the person is like is religious, so he's going to choose to be married to a hijabi girl. And it's like, my mom usually likes to getting two people to know each other, and maybe arrange their marriage. When mom gets if she has a guy and he's looking for a girl to marry, so if he's religious, so it's one of his requirements that the girl has to be a hijabi. He doesn't really like to be married to a non-hijabi girl, and then like convince her to wear hijab or anything like this.
Yeah,
So
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, so there are some guys that prefer the girl to be hijabi, and there are some guys that like they like their image, or they like to be looked at as maybe a little bit Western or anything like this. So he likes to his wife to be non-hijabi, because he he's more into his image or anything like this. um and about the men, does like men after marriage like force their wives to wear the hijab? Yes, I think so. It happens a lot here in Egypt. Uh, like he married the girl, and he's not hijabi, and he has never talked to her about the hijab. But after marriage,
Wow.
he's like, now you're my wife, and you represent me, and for us to look as like a religious family, or um for to avoid anyone to say that um I'm not a man, and to avoid anyone to say that I let my wife to show her skin, or show um, her hair. You don't like people to look at me as I'm not a man, I'm not man enough, or anything like this. So you have to wear the hijab. Yeah, so this is also a way of thinking that a lot of
Men.
Egyptian men, yeah, go with. And there are other men that no, yeah, I took you like this, so it's your choice if you want to put it on, if you want to take it off. So I'm not in a position to make you wear it or take it off. It's your choice after all. But
Depends the education on the person, maybe, and the, I don't know, their
yeah, it
personality.
depends. Yeah, it 100% depends. And yeah, I'm not really proud to tell you that it's actually the minority of men here in Egypt to leave the girl decide after marriage, because it's like a manly thing here in Egypt, and I don't know why they usually associated with their manhood. It's something related to me. It's something related to my body, my hair, my skin. So it has nothing to do with you. So I'm not sure actually why they associated with their manhood, but yeah, a lot of them do, and they usually use religion to like convince
to
uh,
control.
yeah, to control. Yeah, you know, God said this and this and this. Yeah, but he said all of this, but I have to be 100% fully convinced with it to wear it because it's a big commitment, and you know, I'm going to stand in front of God alone. Without you, you're not going to be with me. So it's my choice. My yeah, it's 100% my choice. So yeah, some guys actually don't respect that. It's like an
But
order.
you know what I think? It's related, like, okay, Mexico, it's a conservative country. Uh, Now, the steps that we are doing are super big. Actually, by law, women can be the same, like, it's considered that we are the same as the men, but by cultural facts, there is still a lot of discrimination out of women and home violence and things that the feminists are fighting really hard in my country. Maybe we don't use the veil, but the control of the clothing, it was something that in the generation of my mother and still in mine, in other village outside the capital, outside the middle class and high class areas, are still really focused a lot, like really present. And maybe it's not with hijab, but yes, out of the other way of dressing or attitude of I don't want you to talk to male friends, or jealousy or aggressivity or home violence. And with this topic, I want to go like I really believe this is called sexism, and it's nothing
Mm.
related to Islam or Christianity
Yeah.
or Judaism. It's about a horrible system that it's sad, but
Yes.
all the countries, even we pass it or we are still passing it in the world, even in the USA, the home violence is still existing. And and if you see the numbers about countries that you never imagine, you will like it's shocking how much women die by
Yeah.
violence every day, still inside their houses. So I really think this is not something related on the veil. Maybe in Egypt because it's Muslim majority they use it, but I really believe also in the Coptic areas this happened.Maybe not with the veil, but yes, with
Yeah.
other
Other reason.
cultural
Mm.
other exactly like maybe cover your arms completely, don't use shorts,
Yes,
don't use certain type of clothes. Maybe Coptics in Egypt as
for sure.
Christians, they don't use the veil, but they oppress them also in other ways. So it's not
Yes.
like Islam is sexist or the Muslims are like this. Is the culture that it needs to be changed.
Yes,
You
of
say
course.
some or something, and this is the last question I want to say. uh Me personally, what I'm going to say is I suffer sexual harassment in the majority of the countries in the USA, in Mexico, in Lebanon, in Palestine, in France, everywhere sexual harassment exists.
Yes.
Yesterday, I suffered sexual harassment, by the way, in a restaurant. But Egypt has a particular problem with sexual harassment. Like, it's
Yes.
something huge. Like, I suffer sexual harassment everywhere, but Egypt, even in the news, appears like it's something unbelievable. You mentioned, and I read it in several books, that one of the reasons that they mention out of the religion and the faith um, is the topic about using the veil to prevent the sexual harassment in the street. Um, do you think, as your own experience, because me, when I go to Egypt, I'm not a veil. I don't use veil. I dress westernized clothes, conservative, but I dress normal clothes. Do you think you as a veil, these it's like if like these prevent Egyptian women to suffer harassment in the streets in Cairo or no? Or it's something like it's a problem of the society that the government needs to do something to avoid it,
Yeah, it's
even though mhm. Like even though
yeah, I
any
don't
type of
think
woman should not be suffering harassment, but
yes, of course.
do you think like women with hijab or niqab suffer less harassment in Egypt?
No, No, 100% no.
I know this question because I had it. I remember in Kentucky, no, in Burger King with you a couple of years ago in Cairo.
Yes. No, I think this is 100% a misconception that hijab protects a girl from getting harassed. I was actually harassed. I started my journey with sexual harassment when I was like, what, like 10 years or old or something in Egypt, and I wore the hijab like when I was 15 or 16 or something, and until now, I still get sexually harassed, despite the fact that I wear modestly most of the time. I try to be as modest as I can. I try to cover up as much as I can, but no, 100% no. It doesn't. And I know I have some niqabi friends who gets actually sexually harassed, and not importantly to be like harassed physically. They get harassed verbally. They get harassed in many other ways that are considered also harassment. So it doesn't protect us, and it's 100% misconception. And yeah, you said that it's a really big issue here in Egypt, and yeah, there are some movements that are like aggressive movements appeared in the last years, that because the government actually doesn't they actually try, and they try to lately they managed to empower a lot of girls to like report sexual harassment, because even before, sexual harassment was supposed to it was like a stigma, and on both men and women, like the women who is a victim actually. So it's like a stigma, so she can't report the incidents, because it's not good for a girl to like to for people to talk about her, that she got sexually harassed. It's like shameful for her. But recently, actually, the government has made like a lot of steps towards this. Girls are now more open to reporting the incidents, more open, more brave to talk about what they went through.
Love it.
And I hope it develops, but mainly it's something which is related to the culture and
Exactly.
yeah, the ignorance and the type of upbringing that
The
most of
sexism.
yes, the sexism, of course, that are most of the Egyptian men that um, like used to, and also that the society, because when you get sexually harassed in the street or something, if there are people in the street, like you're alone, and you get sexually harassed by anyone who's passing by, and then you wait, and you make a scene like he harassed me or anything like this. Also, the people in the street, most of them they doesn't stand with the girl. They usually tell her like, it's okay, he said sorry to you, let him go, he has a home, he has children, you don't want to um, his future, you're going to ruin his future if you reported it. So he has a home, and he knows he's wrong right now, so walk away, and like nothing happened. So
It's horrible.
also the yeah, also that the people are really negative about this, and they are being really passive. Also, this has to change. Like usually when I see a girl that is like harassed by any mean in the metro or in the street, I don't know how I feel, but I get so anxious, I get so stressed, and I walk to her like I want to protect her from those people, not from the harasser himself. I want to those people who talk just negative stuff around her to walk away, and for her to make her decision. If you want to report it, if you want to do anything, just know that we are with you, and you have all the right for this. And yeah, so it's not only the government or the harasser, also the society and
Society.
their yeah, their look and how they see the harasser, and how they see the girl. Yeah, this too has to change actually.
Yes, and
So
for me
yeah,
this is
it's
super important to show, because a lot of people mention a woman, it's super, it's like it has the fault to being harassed because the way they dress, and it's like a perfect explanation is not the way we are dressing. Number one, sexual harass, no matter if you are using bikini, no matter if you're using shorts, or no matter if you're using hijab or niqab, this is still happening because it's a problem of the sick society that the world completely has. No matter the religion, no matter the culture, this happens everywhere in the world. And I see feminists and women nagging and complaining and making videos about how this really happened in every single place. No matter how much clothes are you wearing or how much clothes you are not wearing, this is still happening, and it's something unbelievable, horrible, that people need to fight. But the laws can say whatever you want to say, but if the culture doesn't change, I just want to ask you the last question and we finish. Is, you mentioned a lot how much you love the hijab and how much for you was to being close of God. So if you have like something to say what hijab in all these years wearing it mean for you, what it is, and if you can say a word to all these women who are being also forced to wear it, what will you say to them as a hijabi woman who choose to wear the hijab?
Okay. Okay. The hijab actually, when I think about it, like over the years, and being used to it, and being so attached to it, and knowing every day that what it did for me, and it did for my way of thinking and personality. I usually think of it as a part of me, like. It became like a part of me, became a part of my identity, and who I am. Like, I can't imagine myself without it. I can't imagine myself um like going through every day without it, because yeah, like I'm so stuck. I'm so very close to my religion, and I aspire to be closer and closer, and yeah, it has helped me a lot, and it has inspired me a lot over the years to do so. So I'm really thankful for it, and I'm really thankful for the idea of the hijab, and being modest, and yeah, it inspires me every day actually. And for all the girls who get forced to wear it without being convinced, and fully 100% convinced that they want it, and they like they want to wear the hijab. Yeah, I'm really sorry for them, and I wish for them to be 100% free to make their own choice regarding the hijab, and regarding every decision and every opinion in their life. And yeah, I'm really sorry for them, and I'm really sorry for everyone who thinks that hijab has to be forced, because it's a really
Exactly.
beautiful thing, and it's a really beautiful symbol, and it's a really inspiring part of our religion. And something like this, something as beautiful as this, cannot be forced, and you can just like associated with any bad feeling, or any bad vibe. Like, it's made for us to feel peaceful, to feel inspired, to feel powered, and it's really shameful for people or for parents who force it on their kids or on their loved ones, because you're not creating anything other than like hatred and nothing related to our religion or the peace that it brings. Yeah.
Yes,
So
and
yeah,
misunderstanding. They also cause like judgment to all the million of women who really decide to wear it because of faith and identity. And this is this is a problem. Like
for
because
sure.
of a bad decision and bad people who use the veil in a wrong way, thousands of millions of women are being judged of
Yes,
wearing it.
and harmed,
Exactly.
of course.
I love it, and I swear you are amazing. You are amazing, and I love a lot about how you everything, how you think, how you live, everything about you. I love
I
it.
love you, Jayo. I love you so much. Thank you so much for this.